Welcome to the Law of Positivism podcast. I'm Shireen Oberg, and I'm a yoga teacher and author devoted to the path of healing and heart-based living. And I want to help you to step into what you truly are and to your highest potential. On this podcast, I share with you tools and insights to help you move ever forward on your spiritual and healing path. With guests from all over the world, from different wisdom traditions, I wish to create a web of loving energy that permeates the whole world to create more love and peace. You can connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for more guidance and love. Hi everyone, and welcome to this very special episode. It's the 100th episode of this podcast, and I'm so grateful that we've together reached this point of the life cycle of the podcast, and I can't express the gratitude that I feel for everyone who's been listening to the episodes, who's been sharing them, also for all your feedback and comments. It's been so beautiful and so loving. I'm really grateful. And what has been so amazing for me with this podcast has actually been connecting, besides with all of you and people reaching out to me after hearing episodes, commenting and sharing, and just giving me so much beautiful love. It's also been that I've had so many amazing guests on this podcast, and it's really been an evolution in the podcast. I feel like the vision I always had from the beginning with the podcast was to just share the amazing work of people out there who are creating energy, vibration, and products and services that are here to help heal the individuals that they meet, but also the collective. I wanted to show that there is so much hope and so much beauty in life and in this world that we don't really focus on in traditional media, but that we truly have. And I've been so inspired by listening to everyone who's been on this podcast. It's been like a learning journey for myself. I've had people within so many different branches of holistic healing, spirituality, yoga, so many different types and forms of service that it's been so amazing, and I'm so grateful. And it's been guests from all over the world, as you know. And I just was looking through the beautiful iTunes, Apple feedback that I've got. I got the reviews and the ratings, and it's been so amazing. I'm sitting and reading it right now. I have everything from longer reviews. For example, this one, the information shared is so helpful and presented in a very compassionate way. I really enjoy the guided meditations. I'm now listening to the previous podcast I have missed. Also really enjoy the messages shared on Instagram. So glad I found you. I mean, that is the greatest gift that I can receive. And I feel like maybe each guest have been resonating with all of you in different ways. And maybe you're on a path of spiritual awakening, or discovering your connection with the goddess, or discovering your connection with other healing modalities. And I had people speak about Reiki healing, about Chinese medicine, about Ayurveda, about yoga. It's so diverse, and I welcome it all, because I feel like as a versatile group of people of this world, we have also such different paths, unique purposes, unique ways of being and living, that we are here to discover our own unique path. And we can do that through inner discovery. It's not about finding something outside of us. It's all about finding that inner voice, that inner sensation and intuition that really guides us. And in the podcast, I have also shared meditations. On my YouTube channel, I have shared maybe 1 or 2 yoga lessons as well. So you can check that out on YouTube at Law of Positivism. And I'm really excited to see where this podcast will go, because now, as we have reached the 100th episode, I've actually been doing this for about 2 years. I started the podcast in the beginning of October in 2019. So it was a different world. I was completely in a different state because I had just left the career that I had been in for 7 years within business and marketing and IT. And I had heard the calling for many years to go even deeper into how I could serve humanity and others in different ways and in meaningful ways. And I was constantly asking the universe to guide me and to show me my path. I trusted my path, and I really decided to listen to my heart, because in previous life decisions, I've also spoken about this in certain episodes where I've had guests, that I have previously made decisions from the mind rather from the heart. And we know when it comes from the heart, when it feels so good in the whole body, when we're making a decision, it's not based on fear or any worries or doubt. It's just so convincing and so light in a way that it feels good. That's when we are truly aligning with our heart, our soul, our path, our mission. And at the time I started a podcast, I had released part of my life that was someone that I had been for such a long time and thought that I would be for the rest of my life. But at the same time, I've always had the spiritual side with me, and it's been integrated in everything that I do. So it was never a hidden part. I was very open and honest with the people I was meeting and everyone around me, that this was also a part of my life, the whole thing around spiritual growth and what yoga helped me with and how meditation helped me. And it's been so beautiful to evolve in that and dive deeper into that. So as the episode started, I just was so blessed with so many beautiful, different guests. The very first guest was Lynn Hales, who created the art for this podcast, who creates so much beautiful art and have shared and created art that is not only here, but it's also actually the artwork for my book, which was birthed now in June of this year, The Law of Positivism, Live a Life of Higher Vibrations, Love and Gratitude. And the cover of the book is actually kind of a soul art that she made for me, tuning into what she could sense from the symbols I was giving to her. And I felt this ethereal connection to this beautiful art. So I'm really blessed to have this as something that puts my book together. And I actually have my book in my hands. It's been actually released for a couple of months now, and I'm still getting so much beautiful feedback and more people that have been helped by the exercises in the book and just either read it, those who have read it, or listened to the audiobook in the Hales app. I've been so blessed to connect with even more people, because this is how the universe works. It's when we have a clear intention, it works for us. And writing this book was like a dream come true for me. It was definitely a year-long journey, an inner journey of healing, of releasing, of shedding, of growing, and just putting everything into word that I had been working on myself and with clients, and what I've learned through the yogic tradition from my teachers and through the healing modalities such as Reiki, and just the communion and the devotion to the divine and the Mother Earth. And I think that everything came together, and I wanted to share with you in the introduction what I've written about what I created as pillars for my community, and what I was sharing on Law of Positivism as I started many, many years ago. I started in 2014 to share positive messages, trying to do something positive in the world. That was my mission, to share something that would make, even if it was one person smiling, I would be so happy and grateful. And then it evolved into more and more, and I started sharing astrology and quantum physics and numerology and so much more. And the Instagram account has also been an evolution for me, because the more I've learned, the more I had to share, the more I channel, the more insights. So it's like a beautiful spiral of just growth and evolution. And the pillars that I created is just to somehow visualize or conceptualize what I felt was important on my path. And I've written in the introduction that the first pillar of the Law of Positivism, and the most fundamental one, is energy. We are all energy, connecting with energy, integrating energy, emitting energy, absorbing energy, transforming energy, and everything around us is energy. If we hold this as a truth, we also understand that we are eternal and infinite. So if we are infinite, why should we be limited by something as mundane as a thought? Thought can create and transform energy, as well as shape and transmit energy, only through the addition of the emotion that fuels it. Our minds and thoughts are tools with which we can create the reality in which we live in. So when I was convinced of this many, many years ago, I started practicing it very early. I think I was 20. And I saw how such amazing shifts, and whatever it's called that we're practicing, doesn't really matter what we think we're doing, just as long as we are very intentional and very clear with what we are putting our energy into. So I felt like this was a very important pillar. And now that I've studied yoga, I've studied Chinese medicine, these ancient, beautiful wisdom traditions, I've seen that is fundamentally the core principles of that we are in an energetic state at all time, and that we are in communion with the energy all around us. There's nothing that is not energy. And energy goes beyond the senses and beyond time and space. So it's a very expansive theme and concept of life. And the second pillar of the Law of Positivism, which is interconnected with the law of energy, is that mind, body, and soul all work together to create the energy that we transmit to the world. When one element is out of balance, the others follow. So if we spend hours and hours on meditation, but then go on with our day without taking care of our body, feeding it unhealthy foods and substances, the benefit of that meditation isn't able to take full effect. Or if we take the trouble to eat healthily and be physically healthy, yet neglect our soul and our spiritual path, leading us to become more attached to the physical life and forget that we're spirits, this also creates an imbalance and a decrease of life force energy. Only through a holistic perspective and through understanding the correlation between mind, body, and soul, we can truly integrate and align these elements within us to create homeostasis, equilibrium. So this book that I've written is all about getting to know all layers of your being, which consists of your physical body, your mental, emotional, energetic, and spiritual body. And it's not that one is more important than the other. Maybe at times we need to focus more on one than others, but there has to be a complete balance to be fully aligned. And in the book, I take you through a journey to move through the mind and the thoughts and to start organizing and using the mind and thoughts as a tool. And we also work with how emotions affect our physical health, our mental health, and how we can use our emotions also as a tool. So we become truly what in Vedanta yogic philosophy says is that we are the observer, which means everything that we can observe is not truly us. We are just observing it. And that includes observing your body, observing your thoughts, observing your emotions, observing your energetic state, and also this soul that comes and goes through the lives. And in the end, we're one with the eternal and the infinite consciousness that is everything. And the last pillar, the third pillar that was so important early on in my practice, the third pillar of the Law of Positivism is the practice of gratitude to oneself, to others, and to the universe and life. This practice in itself is easy. Just thinking about things you're grateful for early in the morning or before going to bed at night programs your mind to focus on what's beautiful in life. And there's so many beautiful things in life. And to create more of that beauty. When you express gratitude, you send out a vibration that the universe responds to. Yeah, so feeling this fullness, abundance, the muchness of life, which there truly is. It's only the thought that can start playing tricks and putting limitations on us. We are limitless. It doesn't matter what the outer circumstances of life is. We are still limitless, no matter what we are going through, what we've gone through. And we all have our baggage. We all have things that we are still learning from, lessons. And I think that paying attention to what is beautiful in life, we're not supposed to be in constant just feeling not aligned or not feeling at our highest potential or feeling like things are unfair or that we are in lack. When we focus on that, that's this life we create and the state that we get stuck in. So I think it's very important to have this state of gratitude and then think, I'm grateful for myself, but also for the divine magic that has put me here, because sometimes we can feel so small and alone and maybe disconnected, but when we start connecting truly, it's really so expansive. And I'm looking through now the guests that I have had just to reminisce, and there's so many beautiful themes. We had Marnie Wasserman, who's written a beautiful quote of my book as well. In the book, we talked even about healing and natural pregnancy and birth. We have had guests to talk about happiness, about high sensitivity, HSP, about the rose lineage, a lot of beautiful priestesses, about healing trauma. We've gone into Atlantis, Lemuria. So when I look at this, I see how much there is. And I'm grateful for that, that also spirituality is so diverse and that we can find and tune into that which is aligned with our path right now. And I can tell you that what we think our path is only right now, it will evolve. Because only this year, I feel like my own consciousness has expanded beyond the earth and beyond the heavens and out to the universe in a completely different way. And I'm sure I'm going to have more topics like this on the podcast coming. We have gotten into a lot of goddess talks and Mary Magdalene and the wheel of the year. We have had holistic healing, affirmations, astrology. I'm just naming these. We have also had dance as healing. And I think that if you haven't listened to the older episodes, there's so much goodness that you can get from there. Imagine this is the 100th episode. Some of the guests I've had been on once, twice, or 3 times. Some have been on once, but you have so much to take part of here. And I need to listen again back to the episodes, I feel like. I also want to share, which is something I wanted to really show my gratitude for everyone who's been listening, to give gratitude to the universe, to be in service. I wanted to actually share a discount right now. If you are listening to this episode this week of the full moon and the equinox, such powerful, potent times, I want to share that on my website, you have a tab that is called Work With Me. And I share there that I give angel and goddess oracle card readings. I do distant Reiki healings. I do astrology readings, personal meditation sessions, couples healing sessions, and also traditional Chinese medicine and doula consultations. And I want to give a discount to all of you who are listening of 50% of any one of the services that I offer for this week, if you book this week, because I feel like I want to give back. I want to thank the universe, the God and goddess that I have been put on this path, and I'm here to serve, and I'm always in devotion. So if I can help more people, I want to do that. So if you go to lawofpositivism.com and the Work With Me tab, you can see there different readings and services, healing modalities, and on the bottom of the page, you can contact me, and there you can also put in that you are a podcast listener and let me know what you want to take part of, and I will make sure that we create time and space for that. I also want to have a giveaway on this special occasion, and that would be a tarot reading. I do tarot angel card readings because I love working with the angels, and I want to give it away to those of you. I will do a random selection. I always do it without looking and just pointing out, asking the angels to guide me. If you leave now a review and rating on iTunes, I will go in next week and see how many have posted there. It's very easy to leave a review and rating on iTunes. You can do it either in the app, but if you don't have iPhone, you can also do it on the website. If you go to Podcast Apple. And if you do that, I will choose someone who will get a free tarot reading, personal tarot reading. So I'm excited to see your comments and feedback. And this is actually a way for me to reach more people as well with these messages. I've felt like always that I trust that the episodes, the posts I make, the things I've shared, they will reach the right people at the right time anyways. And if we are creating this beautiful circle, this network of energy all around the earth, we are helping and never feeling that we are too small to create a change, because it starts with a thought. So I think that it's going to be a beautiful way to continue creating. And if you are yourself feeling the drive and motivation right now to do devotional work, to do healing work for others, and you feel that calling, it is meant for you, because I can tell you, it will probably not leave you. If you have felt the calling, you are exactly where you need to be, and you are always guided. So don't be afraid of it. Start doing it in your own pace and feel like you are here and giving the whole world a gift by doing that. So I'm really proud of everyone who's been so brave. And many of my guests share their stories, and they just have been on so many different paths. Recently, I have Nikki Clinch on, who's written the book Surrender, and we talk about the surrendering and the trusting and accepting. It's so important. And a quote from the book that I want to read is that there's a purpose and intention in who and what you are. You should never feel guilt or shame about who you are. And I think that's very important also in the spiritual community, to feel that if you accept yourself fully, love yourself fully, embrace yourself fully, and feel that you are doing exactly what you need in your life, then you are on the right path. And that will then, even if you feel like you don't have the support from others, or that even life might not be supporting you, if it feels like that, I promise you that you will always be supported by the universe in everything that you do. So have that rest within yourself, that receptiveness, that ease, that whatever you choose to do, it is what is in your path, and trust your path. I always affirm to myself that I trust the path that I'm on. I trust that God is leading me. I know that everything is, from a holistic, bigger picture, important for me on my soul's path. So find that space within yourself. It takes time. It's not easy it doesn't come from the logical mind. It comes from an inner knowing. So we can feel that shift when that happens. And we all have things in our journeys that have been maybe tough, or felt unfair, or felt like we have a lot of obstacles. But all of them are there for us to shift and to grow. So I don't see it as anything negative, and we don't have to categorize everything as negative or positive. It just is. And we can accept life fully when we accept it all. And we are in a special time this week. We have had the full moon in Pisces, extremely intuitive, beautiful, awakening, feeling this oneness. Maybe you felt dreamy, maybe you have dreamt throughout the night, maybe you're daydreaming, maybe you're getting intuitive messages, feeling a little bit in 2 dimensions at the same time, maybe having physical sensations, hard to sleep, wanting to connect with water, maybe taking longer baths, maybe being in a body of water, maybe being by the water, taking longer showers. Do that. It really helps you to connect with the energy of Pisces. And with the equinox this week, we are completely shifting energy. So it's been coming up, I think, for the past 2 weeks, slowly, but very surely, that we are in a state of shift right now. And in the Northern Hemisphere, with the fall equinox, it means that now is the time to slow down truly and to really observe what is going on and what chapters we are closing right now as we are coming up to the end of the year. In the Southern Hemisphere, we're actually in the initiatory phase and fertile, abundant place of new beginnings. So we have this beautiful balance of the earth, one being in a yin state, which us in the Northern Hemisphere are, and one aspect being in the Southern Hemisphere, feeling like we are more extroverted and young and wanting to create, and nature is growing. And when we go with the nature that we're in and which we are part of, and that we are, what we see all around us, the temperature is changing, the light and darkness, the equinox is equal light and equal darkness, and then it starts shifting. This is really a time now up until the next ritualistic ceremonial celebration, which will be around Halloween. And that is a time when we're mid-equinox and solstice. That is a time where we really embrace the death of nature and the death of part of us, so that we can create space for something new at the solstice, at the winter solstice, as the sun becomes born again. So have that cycle and spiral of life in consideration at all time, because we are constantly there. It's not always going up, up, up. We're always in a circle, in a spiral, and it's beautiful. So I've been also shuffling now my favorite cards, the Divine Feminine Oracle by one of my beautiful guests, Megan Watterson. She's also created this beautiful book, Magdalene Revealed, and it's all about Mary Magdalene, the history of how important she was actually for the whole religion, and how that has been hidden, but now it's been all revealed, and probably more will get revealed. And I think many of you are actually feeling the connection. You feel the connection to this divine feminine. And this oracle card deck is so beautiful. I really love it. And it's beautiful art by Lisbeth Shiver Gessaman, and it's amazing. So I will today, for this special episode, I will draw 3 cards. So 3 goddesses or priestesses or divine feminine embodiments. And I want you to right now take a few deep breaths first. Grounding, not thinking of anything, just feel into your heart, into your body. And I will draw 3 cards. And I want you to visualize the numbers 1, 2, and 3 next to each other. Feel how they're feeling to you right now. And maybe one of them is calling you, or two. It's up to you. And as you tuned into this, keep the number in mind as I'm drawing. I will be posting the image of the cards as well on my Instagram account, so you can check it out there. If you want to see the visual, I will read to you the beautiful text that Megan Watterson had created for this. So imagine that you have picked a number, and I will start with those of you who have picked number 1. And I get this beautiful, beautiful card, Our Lady of Guadalupe. And she is surrounded by the red rose, her hands, palms together in front of her heart, wearing the crown and the stars of her veil. And this card is called the Empress of Protection. I am safe and divinely protected. I am held in love at all times. So I'll say it again. I am safe and divinely protected. I am held in love at all times. This card is so beautiful. And just a few words that Megan has written about this. Our Lady of Guadalupe is the emblazoned emblem of the uniquely powerful protection of a mother's love. Her image is believed to have miraculously appeared within the tilma, or cloak, of Saint Juan Diego. She appeared to him 4 times, the first time of which was on December 9, 1531. She spoke to Juan in his native Nahuatl language and asked him to build a church in her honor. They were standing on the Tepeyac hill outside Mexico City, where the Spanish had recently destroyed a temple to the mother goddess Tonantzin, an Aztec goddess of love. Such a beautiful story. And this card says, what is outside of us is also within us. Even if we have never experienced a mother's love, the true force of that loving protection exists within us. So we can give it to ourselves. When San Juan Diego was concerned that the archbishop would not believe him and was racing to meet Our Lady of Guadalupe, she appeared suddenly and said the most beloved phrase in the apparition story. No estoy yo aquí que soy tu madre. Am I not here? I who am your mother. So this is truly a card that ensures you that you are held, guided, protected by the mother. And that is so beautiful, because that is something that I live by and that I feel and that I guide through in everything that I do in healing work. We are always held and protected by her. And for those of you who saw this message can go out to all of you who are listening, of course, maybe more strongly with the number that you picked. Maybe when you see the images, a specific image calls to you, just take it in, let what wants to integrate with you. The second card is a beautiful card, Khadija, the mother of believers. And this card is so beautiful. It looks like the sun is this halo around her head, and she's wearing red. Red is such a beautiful, deep color that symbolizes so much. And it says, I am spiritually and financially abundant. I provide heaven and earth for myself. And she was a wealthy merchant in the 6th century. And she fed the poor and provided for her children, as she was actually this strong, independent woman. And Khadija had a dream shortly after hiring a young merchant named Muhammad to work for her. In the dream, the sun descended into her courtyard, fully illuminating her home. Her cousin told her that this meant that the prophet would soon grace her doorstep. She realized that her new employee, Muhammad, was the prophet, and so she asked him to marry her. They were married for 25 years. And this card says that there's an ancient narrative and destructive misunderstanding that if we are going to be spiritual, then we have to renounce the material world. The body, however, is the soul's chance to be here. So a healthy relationship to the material world is crucial and integral to reaching our spiritual potential. And this is what I mentioned earlier, that we are living in so many layers, from the physical, mental, energetic, spiritual, and all of them are important. It's not about neglecting one and maybe making more important of another. It's that we embrace it. The body is divine. It's the divine created in this mother earthly materials. We are living and breathing materia of Mother Earth, and that is magical. If that's not magical, then what is? And the last card, the third card for those of you who chose that, is Rabbia. This is a beautiful veiled woman holding a torch and also a halo behind her. And she is the queen of saintly women. And it says, I am in service of divine love. I move the way love asks me to move. I am in service of divine love. I move the way love asks me to move. And this card is beautiful. She represents a rare, pure love that doesn't seek anything other than simply to love. And she is from the Sufi tradition in Islamic history. And she is a Muslim saint and a Sufi mystic who lived in the 8th century in Basra, in present-day Iraq. And on the night she was born, her father had a vivid vision of Muhammad. He told him, your newly born daughter is a favorite of the Lord and shall lead many Muslims to the right path. And she lived in divine love, and she set forth the doctrine of divine love known as Ishq-e-Haqiqi. Her poetry emphasized her desire to worship for the sake of loving God and not for the personal gain. In one of her poems, she says, I carry a torch in one hand and a bucket of water in the other. She wants to set fire to heaven and put out the fires of hell, so that love seeks no gain except to be in service of love itself. She explains, I do not want to worship from fear of punishment or for the promise of reward, but simply for the love of Allah. So this is the card of what I talk about very much from the yogic tradition, Bhakti. It's devotion. It's to live in devotion. Devotion is liberating. It means, again, that you are connected fully to your heart, fully to your path, fully to the divine and fully to the physical aspects of life. And you feel that ease as you are taking one step at a time, truly being conscious and aware and feeling that beautiful resonance that that type of living and being gives you. And I hope that these cards, the Divine Feminine Oracle card deck that I've just shuffled through and picked 3 cards, I hope these cards really help you on your journey. I cannot say how grateful I am. I hope that this episode at least gave back to you what you have given to me. And I want to really send so much love and abundance to all of the guests that have blessed this podcast, and to all of you who've listened. It's a lot of people listening, so many nationalities, from Europe to Africa to Americas to Asia, Australia. It's truly, truly magical, and what an amazing time to live in. I really feel it is a blessing to be here right now. And if you want to take part of this 50% discount, you can go to my website, lawofpositivism.com. I'll also share the link to it in the show notes, and check out the Work With Me tab and see if any of the readings or healing modalities resonate with you right now. And also, if you want to be in the sharing of feedback and ratings to win free personal angel tarot reading with me, you can go to iTunes on your phone or on the website. If you have, you can create an account there and just put in, because that helps me also so much. And I want to close this beautiful episode with you with 1 Om and 3 Shanti in Sanskrit, which gives us all peace. We take the peace into our heart, the peace all around us, and peace for the whole world. And you can join me in the chant if you want. Take a deep inhalation and long exhalation. And inhale to start. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. And have a beautiful day and week. Thank you so much for being here.